Welcome back, everybody. We are doing a tribute to our wonderful 2018 Ram 2500 because this week we will say goodbye.
Bless her heart.
She has served us well.
So I guess what we're going to do is we've owned this truck for 5 years. I bought it brand new with 3 miles on it December 1st of 2018. It's moved kids in and out of college. It's moved them from state to state. We've put a ton of highway miles on this thing. Plus it was my daily driver back and forth to work. So it's got 106, almost 107,000 miles on it. We haven't had a single issue with it, not even a bulb go out in it. We did have one fuel injector that had to be replaced in it back, when it had 12,000 miles. But other than that, the only thing I've done is change the transmission fluid, the front and rear differential, transfer case, engine oil, and the CVT filter in it. So I thought we'd run through what a 2018 Tradesman is. I bought this simply because it didn't have a whole bunch of electrical gadgets and gadgets and things on it. It is the off-road version, so it came with the fender flares and some skid plates and things, but that's about all it's got on it. We did add a few extra things to it. I specifically requested the vinyl seats. One, they look really well. They're rather soft. They're not a hard vinyl, but because of Stella, I didn't want cloth and her getting them all muddy and everything. So how about that, Stella?
Stella loves her big back seat.
So this is Stella's area, and as you can see, I carry an extra way-safe hitch. I've got jumper cables. I've got the gooseneck hitch that's in there, some ins and outs. I carry some really heavy tow straps, and then this simply sits right there, and then anything else that we need goes in the back. The front, one of the things that I did upgrade to was a touch screen 7-inch radio in it, and it wasn't for sound, it was more for function, so that when we're driving we could issue voice commands instead of having to take our eyes off the road. The other thing we have is the Garmin 890. It's the RV GPS. And then what we just added was this King Slim forward-looking camera in case somebody pulled out in front of us or something like that. This actually produces pretty good video to where we use some of the footage from it and put it in our videos.
It has really good night quality.
Yeah.
Better than the GoPro.
Yeah, way better. This is our TST tire monitor system. It does a good job. It hadn't failed us, but I don't like the fact that it cycles through each one of the tires. I can't see all of them at the same time, so we're actually going to replace this. We're going to go with something different. This is this truck didn't come with an inverter, so Maria likes to work on the road while I'm driving, and we use this to power her Mac. We also use it to plug in the tire pressure sensor, the front camera, and the GPS. And that's just an added dongle there that connects into it, and then that end connects into the cigarette lighter. So that's how we get everything powered at one time, because in 18 they didn't have the cigarette lighter above the radio. All right. I installed a CB. That thing is 20-something years old. Where that comes in handy is weather. We get weather updates on the Weather Channel, but more importantly, when we hit big traffic in like Atlanta, Chattanooga, Nashville, truckers talk constantly on these things and tell you which lane you need to be in, where the issue is, that kind of stuff. So
we learned that the truckers call Nashville Crashville. That's pretty funny.
And you don't want it on if you got kids, because they have some foul mouths.
Yes,
but
they do.
That's pretty much it for the inside of the Ram. You know, we went Husky liners because they protect the carpet fairly well. The back of the truck.
Oh yeah, this thing.
So this is a backflip F1. And as you can see, the reason that I like this, it's a 4-panel on a short bed, but we can still hook up the fifth wheel hitch and leave this there. But then all our propane tanks stay underneath the cover. Extra tools and things stay from here forward, so they're covered in case it were to rain, and then the extra stuff stays in the back. What I don't like about it, one, the F1 is very heavy. It's got to be 80 pounds. Two, as you can see, it hadn't really held up all that well. And granted, a lot of that is because we're just not real careful with it. But I mean, it's busted and everything else. This one doesn't have the bed camera in it, so I put a piece of tape right down the center of it that tells me where the center of the hitch is, so that from the inside I can look through the rear window and match up the fifth wheel pin to the blue tape and know that it's close enough to go into the fifth wheel. The sprayed in bed liner is Line-X. I've been absolutely thrilled with it. I had that done. The tires that came with it were Transforce TAs, and they just beat the hell out of us. So I went with these Coopers. They're AT3 XLTs, and they have a higher load limit than what actually came on the truck. They're still E-rated, but the sidewall has enough give in it that it's like a second set of shock absorbers on it, and the ride is just amazing now with those tires on it. I don't know about the tread life because they've only got 15,000 miles on them, but I've been very well pleased with those. The ride softened up easily 50% from unloaded and loaded. The bucking and chucking stopped. Been very well pleased with those. So other than that, other than routine maintenance, I have nothing bad to say about Ram. It's got let's go over the specs on it. So it's the standard output. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's somewhere around 375 horsepower, something like that. It's got the 68 RFE transmission in it, so it doesn't have the icing. It's got the 342 rear end, which is, really freaking low for what the truck is. But it has no problem pulling the fifth wheel. We're well within our weight limits. We're well within the tow rating on it. I think it's got a 20,000 pound tow rating. The payload on it, let's check that. So the payload, if I'm not mistaken, should be right there somewhere. But we're well within our payload. It's got 6,000 pound axles front and rear. We don't max those out. So it does really well. We get about 12 miles to the gallon. Unless we hit I-90 through South Dakota, then it drops to 7. But it's been
That's because of the wind.
It's been a really, really good truck. This right here is the downfall of owning a short bed truck and carrying a fifth wheel. This is the second time that I've done this. So we decided to go to a long bed, and I don't know that this is going to be the biggest fifth wheel that we stay in. So we decided that we would get the biggest truck we could afford, and that way we don't ever have to worry about what the next RV is. So that's reason one that we're getting rid of the truck. Reason two, The driver's seat for me is fairly comfortable. I can do 8-10 hour drives in it. Maria, because she's got shorter legs, I guess, it puts pressure on the back of her thighs and makes her feet go to sleep. So we had to put a block in the floor to raise her feet up. Anyway, newer trucks have more comfortable seats. The other reason was I wanted the ISIN transmission. Nothing against the 68 RFE, you know, we don't have any problems out of it. But since we're going and have gone full time, I wanted the assurance of, you know, a newer truck that we could pull behind or pull our fifth wheel with. So if you have any questions, let me know. I know we kind of ran through a couple of reviews on this, not just the truck, but that's her. Like, subscribe, ask me some questions. I love my Ram.